on this evening, sharing with us and being a part of this symposium. We also have a couple of special guests that happen to be here today that we are so very proud to share the presence with. And one that is Mr. James Clark of the Urban League. We're excited to have him in the building today. Let's give him a hand for being here. We're so grateful for that. Also, we are overly excited to have Mr. Toby Wright with us on this evening, who was one of the hometown heroes here with the St. Louis Rams, who is in the house. Let's give him a hand on this evening as well. And so our special guest today happens to be a three-time boxing champion who took the time to come out to Impact Church St. Louis on this evening and just share part of his story, share his life, and remind each and every one of us that with God on our side, man, we can make it and we can do something bigger and better, especially coming out of this St. Louis region. And I would like to welcome this evening to you, Mr. Devon Alexander. Let's give him a hand on tonight.
Oh, man. Thank you for having me, Pastor. My man, I'm happy to be here.
I am so glad that you are. Listen, man, I want to get right into it, and I'm really grateful for people like Brother James Clark and others who do so much work in the community that really actually had a bridging with this relationship that you and I have begun to build. And so I just want to ask you a few questions tonight, man. Let the people ask questions. Those who are online, ask some questions, and we'll, interact with them as we have our online ushers that will be present at the moment. So, Devon, just share a little bit about where you're from, what part of the city you're from, and what was that like for you growing up in St. Louis?
All right. I don't want to be too long, Pastor. I'm not going to be too long. But for you guys who don't know, and all of you guys in attendance, my name is Devon Alexander the Great, alias the Great. Case in point, history, Alexander the Great. I got that name from my first promoter, Don King. He gave me that name, Alexander the Great. Grew up North St. Louis, a little bit west from here, and very impoverished neighborhood. Had a big family, 13 brothers and sisters, 8 sisters, 4 brothers, 5 include me. Grew up very rough, 2-bedroom household with a lot of kids in there. Mom and dad, thankfully, thank God. I had my mom and dad, but it was rough. It was a rough beginning for me. And I didn't realize it was rough for me until I was 12 years old. But I grew up in a situation that normally kids shouldn't grow up in. I witnessed gang, drugs, killings, shooting every night. We would have a saying in my mom's household where if we heard gunshots, we was to hit the deck. Hit the deck mean get on the floor, and if you was to still be standing when those bullets get to shoot, you'll be in trouble, because we was used to that. So that was the thing we had in our household. I grew up knowing that I had to get out. And I didn't realize I was a poor kid until I traveled for boxing. I started boxing at the age of 8. My coach, my first coach, was Kevin Cunningham, was a police officer. He was starting a gym for the local kids to do something positive. And James Clark had a hand in that as well. But he wanted to start a gym to do something positive with the young men that was getting killed, that was joining gangs. And, he worked at my elementary, and he brought some flyers to the school. He said, hey, if you guys want to join a boxing team, come and try out. I brought the flyer home to my mom. She didn't let me go at first, of course, because my mom, and I thank her for this, she kept a close eye on all of her kids. All of us are still living. None of us are in the game. None of us are messed up, as you can say. All 13 of us are pretty healthy individuals. So I brought the flyer home to my mom. I said, Mom, can I go? She said, no. She let my older brother and them go, though, because they were a little older than me. I asked her for 2 weeks straight. I said, Mom, can I go? No. Can I go? No. So after a few weeks of me begging, she let me go. And the first day of the gym became the rest of my life at the gym. And I enjoyed it from the first day I went. My coach would say I was smiling just as I was hitting the bags. I was hearing the bags, to hearing the ropes jump. I was just in heaven. I was laughing, joking, just having a good time. And it was something new. It was something new. It was something that I wasn't used to, but I enjoyed it. So the first day of my boxing journey was the rest of my life. And that's why I'm sitting here right now with you today, man, because I worked hard, stayed dedicated. I started with 50 kids, maybe more than that, but it was like a revolving door at the boxing gym. I lost a lot of my brothers who I grew with to gangs, to jail, maybe gangs, killings, a lot of trauma with that too. But I started with 50 young men, and I wasn't the best fighter. I wasn't the best fighter in the gym by far, because when I first sparred, I got toe up. When I tell you I was crying, my nose was bleeding, I got toe up, and I remember it because I got toe up. So you know what I mean? So I was crying. But it didn't deter me. I wanted that back. I wanted that back. I wanted that back. So after about 3 months, I trained. I got that back. So as I began my boxing journey, I remember plain as day, one of my teammates, I came to the gym. Hey man, you heard about Johnny? He got killed. What? Gangs, drive by. So that became a common theme in my gym as well. And that's another reason why I'm sitting right here with you today. Because I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I used the trauma that I was seeing every day going to the gym as motivation to steer clear of everything I was seeing my teammates do. I went left. God blessed me to continue to go right instead of left. I never had the urge to be in the game. I never had the urge to want to do drugs. I never had the urge. He took that out of me. God took that out of me. I don't know why he chose to take that out of me. Like my friends they didn't have that will to say, no, I'm good. That's why I think God really saved me for something special. Because what made me so special that he took that urge that my friends had that I boxed with. Why did he take that out of me? Why did he say, okay, you finna be in the game. Johnny can be world champion. Why me? I used to ask it a lot too. Like, why me? But I started this boxing journey, and it was a lot of trauma along the way, but it was well worth, because I get to impact a lot of kids now. I won a lot of tournaments growing up. I won a lot of accolades, a lot of notoriety throughout my career. But none of that matters if I ain't got God. None of that matters. None of that matters if I'm not doing what God told me to do. That's why I'm right here today, because I want people to understand my story, hear my story, and know that boxing was just a catalyst for something greater. And I'm starting to realize that now, as I'm getting older, as I'm reaching the end of my career, I'm starting to realize boxing was just a catalyst. It's what I've been feeling my whole career as want to do more. Want to do more in the community, want to do more outside of boxing. Always had that I can't explain it. I always wanted to help. I always wanted to give back. I always wanted to talk to kids. I always wanted to do that. And by hanging around with my man James Clark, I can do that. He's facilitating a lot of things for me where I can give back in a big way like I want to. I haven't even scratched the surface yet on how I want to give back. But that's just a little snippet of my story. It's a lot more deeper than what I've explained today, but I just want to give you a little snippet. It wasn't rough. It wasn't easy. It was definitely a rocky road, but at the end of the day, when they say the new WBC World Champion, it's all worth it. The emotions, the rush, all the push-ups, the sit-ups, all the miles, all the trauma, all the killings, all the things I went through as a kid came to that moment, and it was well worth it. Not as opposed to my friend dying, but it was well worth it. I'm glad God saved me and saw fit to be three-time world champion.
Man, that was pretty good, wasn't it? Thank you for that. And so really you actually you answered some things that were going to be asked, but it allows some more layers to be peeled back from that because it kind of opens Pandora box for some other things. Let's kind of go back to what you said about having 13 siblings. And you said you didn't know that you were impoverished till you were later on as a child, going into your preteens, I think. What was it about growing up that way you think shaped your mindset to have a winner mindset? That once you discovered, man, well, we're in a tight space and I want to get out of here, what was that one or two motivating factors to say I got to do something different than this, even as a child?
So, it's a good question because that's a difficult question because I do nothing of myself. I realize that, but it was dangerous where I grew up at, and walking to school you could have got shot. Driving you could have got shot. Anything could have happened in the neighborhood I was in. So, what the motivation factor? I just kept going. I was not like I said, God took that urge to want to be in the game or hang out. I'm an introvert too. I like to be alone sometimes. I'm not a crowd. I don't like clubs. I never like parties. I'm a homebody at heart. Boxing keeps me busy, but I'm a person that likes to just chill. I'm a laid back. They used to say I had an old soul, just a laid back person. So it was naturally fitted for me to just stay the course. I didn't have the urge for nothing else but boxing, and that's all I thought. So that's a good question that you asked, but it was nothing but God, who made me. But it was always just boxing for me. I gotta stay the course. If I don't make it in this boxing, and I became good. I won my first national title at 9 years old. At 10 years old, I won 2 national titles. At 11, I was just racking them up. I said, man, I'm good at this boxing thing. Man, I am good. I became real good, and I was just beating everybody that got in the ring with me. So I became good at it, and that's all I saw was boxing. And God, after a while, when I was 16 years old and I was heading to the Olympic year, I said I can do this for the rest of my life, and I can really make a career out of this. Because when I first started boxing, I didn't say, Devon, you finna be 3-time world champion. No, that was so far fetched for me. Cause it was just far fetched because a kid like me, North St. Louis, man, you ain't finna make it to no top of no boxing game. What are you talking about? But that was at first. But as time went on, I got to seeing, man, God got a bigger purpose for me. I don't know what, and I don't know if it's good to question God, but I always ask, man, why me? Why? You got 30 young boys over here that can fight. I mean, when I tell you, I was not the best fighter in there. You had some naturally gifted fighters around me, my brother. It was cold. When I tell you had hands, they had hands. I had to work for everything I got. I had to work for it. I was not naturally gifted, so I had to work for whatever whatever skill I got now. I had to work for it. But it was just God. It was just nothing but God that saved me and what motivated me to keep going and not fall straight to the streets of whatever was my circumstance.
So with that being said, and you talk about your family, you talking about how you personally navigated through, for them to see your success, how does that make the people, your other 12 siblings, your mom, to see where you all come from, and how do they feel about that's my little brother or that's my big brother? Are you the baby or
I am the fourth from the youngest.
You're the fourth from the youngest. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So like, how does that make them feel to see your success?
That's a hard That's a hard question. But of course my mom's happy, of course. I give her whatever she wants. Well deserved. Well deserved. My mom, having kids and a family of my own, right? Having to go through what my mom and dad went through, you start to understand, how did my mama do this with 13 kids, a 2-bedroom household?
Yeah, man. I don't know
How? Like 13. She got to feed everybody. Everybody got to eat. Clothe everybody. Everybody got to have clothes, shoes. With limited resources. I don't know how my mama did it. And I thank her still to this day. I do thank her, because she could have gave up. Any person nowadays, they would have been like, oh, no way, I cannot. 13.
Amen.
13. I don't know how my mama did, but she did it somehow with God. It was not, and I'm gonna keep reiterating, it was nothing but God that helped her and my dad along the way to say, keep these kids close, don't give up, stay strong. Man, that was a tough job. So my mom is very happy that one of her kids reached a pinnacle of a sport, made it with notoriety. She's very happy about that, and I want her to let her know that I appreciated it. Material things ain't always going to suffice. I want her to feel that I do appreciate her. I do appreciate her. So I text all the time. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate you. My brothers and sisters, they're happy. They enjoy the perks that they can say, Devon Alexander's my brother. They thought it up every day. Hey, do you know I'm Devon Alexander, brother and sister? Jay can contest to that. But they can enjoy the perks of being my sibling, and I'm happy. Any way I can help my siblings' life easier, I'm going to do, because I know where we came from. I know how hard it was to get to where we are, and they're all just happy for me, man. And it was so surreal to win a world title. You know, that's rare. That is a rare com- uh, thing to happen from a kid from North St. Louis. That doesn't happen. St. Louis has had some good champions, some great champions. I'll show you how rare it is. I am the last champion from St. Louis, and that was 2015 when I won my last title. So it's hard. That's what, almost 10 years, almost 10 years. So that's how rare it is to be able to win. It's hard. It's like hitting the lottery, to be honest. So I don't take it lightly. God saved me. He facilitated that. I don't take it lightly.
Man, I'm glad to hear that. And man, the brother has really like a tremendous humble heart. Like he was in the gym in the back just shooting basketball when we were getting started. Like he's just a real down to earth brother. So speaking of that, like being down to earth, and you've met a lot of people along the way, and you mentioned people like James Clark a few times, and your friend Toby Wright. You know, you got an NFL player that you cool with in the house with, right? And just other people. Who are some people that you've met along the way in this journey that have inspired you or poured into you, and that you never even thought you would probably meet in your life coming from North St. Louis, right? Like, who are some of those people along the way that you met that maybe some of us don't know that you know that may have poured into you?
Some people that I've met. That's a good question. Well, of course,
I got a lot of good questions,
yeah,
just by the way.
very, very good questions, man. Make you think, make you think. But of course, James Parker, one of them, Toby's one of them. Because I'm a person who likes to listen to the older gentlemen before me, because they know I was able, and that was a gift that I had, to be able to listen to people like older people in front of me. I was able to listen and grasp what they were saying. Um, I'm not a big talker, but I was able to listen. I'm able to listen. So my coach Kevin, I listened to him a lot growing up. Uh, my dad, my mom. You want to be honest, man? Man, so the people that inspired me are not celebrities, or are not, or the like they are not celebrities. They are people, down to earth people who poured wisdom into me, like my dad. You speak of, the humbleness. My dad instilled that in me. He instilled that you're no better than the next man, whether that person give you $1 million, whether that person give you no dollars. You treat that person the same, no matter what. And every tournament, I can remember Plains Day, my dad, I lost him in 2005 from prostate cancer. So in every tournament, I would come home. My dad, everybody excited, yeah, Devon, yeah. My dad, oh, good job, son. But remember, you still got work to do, and you still stay consistent, stay humble. He was the only one that would be just laid back. Good job. You got a lot more work to do. So and that's every tournament. He would do that every tournament. And what he was trying to do is humble me and keep me grounded. That grounded me. Because everybody else was like, man, Dad, you neck, you do this. My dad, good job, son. Proud of you. Keep going. You got a lot of work to do. Keep working. Keep working. I remember the story he used to tell me how a girl he met. And it stuck with me how you should be humbled. You should be humbled at all times. But he used to tell me the story all the time about this girl that he liked, right? So it was a girl in a wheelchair. They used to pick on her.
This is a true story.
True story. True story.
Okay,
He's
true story.
True story.
Because it started off like black man, white man,
Yes.
Chinese man, but
Yes.
this is true story. Okay,
True story.
met a girl in a wheelchair. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
true
All right.
story.
True story. So my dad, he was humble man. He used to see a girl at school. He used to pick on her a lot. He told me, and he would be nice to her. He would be nice to her. He said, "Man, stop picking on her. You know, this girl. That ain't. You don't supposed to be doing that." So he would do that, and the girl will thank him for it. So over time, he'll keep doing it. Stop. So there's a girl he liked. Um, if I'm not mistaken, her name was Stephanie. He liked her. So the story he was saying was, can you imagine? Because that ended up being his sister, girl in a wheelchair. He said, can you imagine if I was mean to her, what she would have told her sister about me if I was picking on her? She would say, hey, do not like it. He always pick on me, do not go for it. But she said the opposite. He's a good man. He always looks out for me. He always. So she was more inclined to date my dad. So that story stuck with me, and that's important because you just never know who you inspiring, who you helping, what path you might cross. Because people never forget how you make them feel. Yeah. I tell my kids this all the time. The first time you meet somebody, they'll never forget how you made them feel. They will never, I don't care what, it can be 50 years down the line. They go always remember how you made them feel. So, and that stuck with me. So, and the humility I have came from my dad. It came from God and my humble beginnings. I'm no better than you. I'm no better than nobody out here. Only difference is God facilitated for me to be on TV and make it to the top of the boxing game. But I'm no better than nobody. So that's why I walk with humility everywhere I go. Because I'm not an arrogant person. I hate arrogance. I don't like when somebody think that just because they made it to a certain plateau that they can talk to anybody a certain way or dog somebody out. That ain't cool. So I always was a person that said, I'll never be like that, ever. And the other thing too, that's the reason why God chose me too, because he knew I can handle it. He knew that I wasn't gonna let this boxing stuff go make my head swell and where I just start treating people different. Don't touch me, man. Don't touch me. Like that type of thing turns me off, to be honest. So that's my dad is the one who I would say inspired me to be who I am today.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal, and I hope online and those of us who are here hear that. Not often do you hear my dad was my hero, and especially living in a culture in a time where fathers aren't around as they could or should or whatever the circumstances may be. Everybody has their own thing. But I share that same sentiment with you, man. I lost my dad in 18, but my dad was my hero. And man, and the kind of dad my father was, we don't really see him. How they say they don't make them like that, like they used to, right? And some of the same characteristics that was in your dad. Now, speaking of dad and father and God, because you mentioned him a lot, our Father in heaven, right? Great transition. Kind of share with us, especially in your personal and in the scope of boxing, how does your faith and love for Jesus and want to grow in Him, like how has your faith affected you personally in your career?
Oh, how did my faith affect me? Good question again, Pastor. Man, you are like 10 for the O now, man. You be a good boxer. Good questions. But for me, when I was a kid, I grew up in the church. my mom would read us stories in the Bible, and some of those stories scared the mess out of me. Man, some of the Revelations stories, some of the stuff they say they will happen in the future, it scared me. It scared me. It scared me straight, to be honest, because I didn't want to disappoint God, and I don't want to burn forever and ever and ever. And some of the stuff that will happen if you don't take heed to His word. So that scared me. Man. When my mama told me some of those stories, that stuck with me. So that kept me. She didn't have to do nothing else. Let me stay. I wasn't a perfect kid, but I wasn't a kid that got in trouble a lot because those type of that stuck with me. God's word, when she spoke them to me, when she told me about what was in the book and what would happen, how you should follow, that scared me. That really did. But it also kept me straight. It kept me on a straight path. Let me not do nothing that God don't like. Let me steer clear of everything. And was I able to stay clear of all things? No, I was not. But most of the time I did. I can say pretty much I was a good kid growing up. But her telling me those stories and starting me young, I grasped it, and I was able to take it with me step by step by step. And every tournament I would win, it was a combination of my dad and God who kept me from doing anything bad. I was a good, and I'm not just saying I was a good kid. I didn't get in trouble a lot um, because of God. I always had Him in my heart. I remember playing. I used to pray to God for about an hour straight by myself in my room. I don't know where I got it from. I don't know why I used to do it. I just know that He was blessing me, even though I was in the hood and I was in this impoverished uh, setting. He still was being good to me. He still was showing me just to keep going. He still showed me that. So he facilitated a lot of. I can go on and on about how I don't know why He chose me. I don't know why He said, Devon, come here. I'm gonna pick you. I'm gonna choose you. I just knew that I need to thank God at all times, stay the course at all times. Am I perfect? No, all mistakes. But for the most part, God and my dad is what kept me on the path, kept me straight. To this day, I'm still praying. To this day, I'm still praying as a family. Actually, we pray every Sunday as a family and every Wednesday as a family. And I just keep staying the course, do what God tell me to do. Am I perfect? I'm gonna keep saying no, sir. But I'm gonna continue to pray and continue to do what God told me to do.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you for that, man. Just kind of sharing your faith and your belief in the Lord Jesus and just how that affects you. I want to ask you this, coming from your background and etc. What would you tell a young person, or maybe even an adult who is in this place in their life where they feel like giving up, but if they keep going, they can get a belt, right? Whatever that is in life. What would you tell that young person or that adult who's struggling to move forward and be persistent? And what insight would you share?
So first, what I would tell the kid that, and I would go through my story with them. I would tell them, look, I started from -0, not a zero, -0. And I wasn't even at the starting point when I started. So you cannot base your now circumstance off of your future, because thank God we got the free will. He gave us a free will to do whatever we want to do. And as a kid, you can control your own destiny. Whatever you choose to do, I thank God for this too. He gave me the blueprint for me, the blueprint on how in sports you can make it. It's about staying consistent, staying up on your craft, and as a kid, if you do start something, you gotta see it through. Because a lot of times when the going get tough, a kid want to stop and give up. But I would tell them keep going, because consistency with anything is key. If you keep nailing that hammer in that wood, eventually that nail will go in that wood. But you gotta stay consistent to anything you're doing. I don't care if it's a doctor, lawyer, pastor. You have to keep the course, stay the course to see it through. You gotta have that extra motivation. You gotta find a purpose. Like my son. My son, for example, he want to box. He wants to box. I let him box. He got about 3-4 amateur fights. His passion is not there though. It's packed. So, and I understood this old man. So he lost his last fight, his fourth fight. He lost, and I was mad. I was like, Devon, why are you not working and pushing hard? And he just graduated, actually. Just graduated high school. He was right. And I said, Devon, why are you not pushing like you supposed, like you want it? So after I got to yelling at my son about why you didn't push and you push the ball, yeah, this old man pulled me to the side. He said, Devon, can I tell you something? He said, your reasoning for doing boxing is totally different from his. His circumstance is not your circumstance. His reasoning is different. His drive. See, with me, I had to get out of that poverty. I had something to fight for. I had a reason to keep going, to keep at it, to keep punching. I literally had to. My son, privileged, no worries. He just want to do it because his dad's doing it. You know, I can tell him to work hard and do this. I can tell him about how I grew up, how it is. He don't understand it though. So this old man really got me to back up off of, and because he's got to find his reasoning, his purpose. He got to find what's going to make him great, because it ain't my story, it's his story. So he's going to have to find that greatest in himself and what makes him tick. So that's what I would tell the kids. Find your reasoning, find your purpose, stay consistent. If you can see yourself doing it for the rest of your life, get up happily to do it. That's what you should be doing. If you can get up every day for the next 30 years doing it, that's what you should be doing. If you're older and you don't see no way out, or you don't see, I would say first pray about it. Because thank God, every one of us got a gift. He done blessed every last one of us with a gift. And find that gift. One thing about it, I don't quote me, tell me if I'm wrong. In the Bible, it says, He's not going to take the gift away. The gift He give you, He'll never take it away, right? So find that gift. Find that gift and pour into your gift, because everybody got one. Thank God, everybody has one. So I would say find that gift, stay consistent, because like I said earlier, when the going gets tough, people tend to give up. If I quit when the going got tough, I done lost some fights, of course, and it was brutal too, but I stayed the course. You got to stay the course. You got to see it through. It's not gonna be easy. Those belts are not easy to get. Anything worth having, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, man. You gotta stay the course. You gotta stay the course. And I promise you, at the end of that course, at the end of that journey, you're going to thank yourself and God for staying the course. So just stay the course.
Love it, man. That's good stuff. Stay the course. Everybody online and has stayed the course. Here's what I want to do real quick, and then I'll ask you a couple of wrap-up questions after that, and then we'll be done for the evening. But I want to allow anybody who's here that wants to ask you a question, whatever that question is. He said he's an open book.
Yes, sir.
And so he does not have any problem, Maya Angela, with asking, answering any questions. All you got to do is just go to that microphone and turn it on. The button's right on top, and ask Devon any question that you would like. We got our first one, our first question.
Yes.
While like Minister Shannon's thinking of hers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Automate.
It should be great.
I'm sure.
It's all
You know, that struck me a problem.
Yes.
Devon Champion, first of all, I'm a huge fan of you as a man and as a champion and representing the city. So big kudos to you. That's the reason why I'm a fan. I do have a question. My question is, with all the success, with remaining humble, having the siblings and all of that, have you dealt with like survivor's remorse? And if you have, how do you handle it?
Good question, man. So I mentioned this earlier about should I be using my friends as motivation? Should I be more sad? Should I be more? I felt bad. I did feel bad when I would come to the gym and hear that Johnny got killed. I would go twice as hard in that gym that day. And I think I did. I really did, because I used to ask God, why? I mean, what was so special about me? I know you shouldn't question God, never question God, but I used to ask that, and I really do think I did have survivor's remorse, because they was young kids, like 15, 16, and a lot of them died. A lot of my friends died, and I did use that as motivation, and that's probably one of the reasons why I'm sitting right here today, Pastor, seeing that trauma, seeing how they get killed. Johnny, they come to the gym saying, man, somebody came up to the car and shot Johnny dead in the head. Like, using that as motive. I did. I can't lie to you. I did have that wrestle with. I don't know if it was bad or good at the time. I didn't know if it was bad or good that I was using it, but I did. So I hope it wasn't bad. I hope I hope God didn't like that. I mean, I hope God didn't mind me using that as motivation. I don't know.
No, I'm sure he didn't. But
Yeah.
to his question, sometimes people feel bad for being successful or making it because their friends are left behind, or so no, man. God uses different means to help motivate us and remind us what path not to go down. So I think that was good. Anybody else? Any questions? Here we go.
So, Pastor, I was actually over there writing questions down, but every question that I had, you either asked or Devon Alexander,
Yes,
our
ma'am.
champion,
Yes, ma'am.
answered. I'm a school teacher, and just seeing the transitions, and living some of them myself, but the transition from when I was a child, and I'm 50 plus years old, to what our children are experiencing now. One thing that I heard you say, just having your mom and dad. I had my mom and dad. We were not rich. They taught us how to thrive and survive. And it's a lot of those lessons that carry me today. So one of the questions that I had was about the words of as a youth that still sustains you today. And what I heard was stay the course. Is there anything that you want to add to that for our youth today?
For the youth today.
Yes.
So stay the course. But I would add also that you don't need a lot of friends. A lot of these kids think they gotta have friends, and they think they gotta have all these people around to make it. Me, like I said, I was an introvert. I didn't need no friends, and I still don't have no friends to today, man. I don't. I didn't have time. I like literally, if you want to do something in life, you literally cannot have no friends, because if you want to make it at the top of anything, you don't have time. Like I literally went to school, went to the gym, went home, went to bed, and I did that for like 25 years straight. And that's why I have no friends, to be honest. But I would say you don't need friends. Friends are distractions. Now, mind you, you could have a good friend that's good for you. I'm not going to say, totally against not having friends. But I would say, as a kid, I was focused on what you want to do in life. Friends are distractions. They got problems right along with what you have. And you look good for 50. I don't know. You look okay. You look good. You look beautiful.
We don't want to round up, but
Okay. You look good. You look good. You look good. But I would say, too, one of the reasons why I passed out, I didn't have no distractions. I kept that part. I didn't have no friends. I was talking about this literally to my wife last week, and I told her. She said, "Devon, you ain't got no friends." I said, "No, you my friend. My kids, my friends." But I literally didn't have any friends growing up because I was so focused on my boxing. And I think too, that's what kids gotta realize, that having friends is a distraction if you want to achieve your goals. So that's another piece that I would add to stay the course. Less friends for sure.
So the only other thing that I want to say is thank you. And I heard you say you didn't know why and you questioning God, but we asked him. He gives us, as you stated this as well. We don't know what our next is all the time, but we do know that when he calls us, he will equip us, and he equipped you to advance in your boxing.
Yes.
But I see, and I'm sure others see so much more in you. He uses that as a platform for what you're doing. So just know that you're making an impact with the youth and the older youth as
Thank
well.
you.
So
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you for the questions, too.
Love it. And I just kind of want to point out, I think, and if anybody else has a question, come on up right now. Is that I think one of the biggest things that I got away from that was probably less about the friends and more about being distracted, and how certain things friends do can be a distraction. Because while they want to go to the movies, you needed to be training, or nowadays while they gossiping on IG or whatever the case is, you focusing on. So I think if I was hearing right, kind of like the premise of, because and he made it clear, he didn't say don't have no friends at all. He was talking about the distraction of it.
Yes.
But I'm gonna need you to get some more friends other than your wife and your children.
I literally don't have no friends. Like I've had associates. Like I still talk to one of my friends from high school, but I don't hang out. I don't have anybody that I can say, man, let's go to the movies, man. Let's go. I don't have that. I don't miss it either, to be honest, because I got my wife.
But you introverted though. So
so I don't miss it. But
you like watching paint on the wall dry. You're just having a good time. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other questions? Here we go. Yeah.
I I have another question.
Go for it.
So, Devon, I know you're not a member here, but a while ago, and Pastor, forgive me if I misquote you, but Pastor did a sermon, and I think it was called "Don't Mistake My Meekness for Weakness." And with you being somewhat of like a gentle giant in a smaller frame, but being a champion, right? Like, have you ever had any issues with people taking your meekness as a weakness and trying to test you, like outside of the ring? And even in the ring, how did you handle like all the pre-fight
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. So pre-fight, I got the gift to turn it on and turn it off. So in the ring, I'm a bad boy. I'm not gonna front. I'm going. I'm on go mode. Once I hear that bell ring, I'm going, and everything, I'm not your friend in the ring. In the ring, and I was taught that, this person across the ring from you is trying to knock your head off, so you better take him serious. So I took that and I take it serious when I'm in the ring. But outside the ring, yes, I have had plenty of people take my niceness for granted. Plenty of people, and this is how, my mom told me I need to stop this too, but I can know a person is using me, and I still let them use me. I can know a person don't like me, and I still say, hey, how you doing? And it's still, if they call me, okay, I got it. So, yes, they have took that for granted. There's a lot of people today that still, I got to learn to say no. I don't know how to say no. They say I need to learn. I'm trying. I sometimes say it in the mirror, no, but it doesn't work when I'm face to face with somebody, and I think that's a kind of a guilt that I got too. Like, I made it, and how can I say no? Because that person is struggling, and I know how it is to struggle. Sometimes they use it against me too, though. They can put the Bible in it and say, God say do this, and they and I know they using me for that. They trying to get some out of me, but I gotta learn to balance that, because a lot of people do use me, and I can know I can know plain as day that I just gave you $200 the other day, and you came back the next day and asked for another $300. So I know for a fact that I go through that a lot, but God's gonna bless me for it. But I know I gotta balance it. And my wife, it drives my wife crazy, to be honest. She drives her crazy that I let people use me sometimes. But I gotta work on it. But some people do use me though, a lot.
So has anybody like tried to pick a fight with you outside of the ring?
No.
Well,
No.
that's a good thing.
No.
Yeah.
So I never had a street fight.
Even growing up.
I never had a street fight a day of my life. So I've had arguments or disagreements or shoving matches or whatever.
Oh, you was knocked the rock off my shoulder. You was one of those kids.
Yeah. So the kid, those are trauma. It's trauma too, talking about it though. I was a poor kid, right? So this kid, I was in gym, and I was just sitting on my little circle, minding my business. So, this day, out of all days, this day, I had some tube socks on, right? And I had some shorts on. So I folded it. You know how you can fold your sock up in your shoe to fold it up so you can have like an ankle sock? I wanted ankle socks as a kid growing up. So I folded it up and fitted it in my sock so they can think I had ankle socks. This day, the socks was dirty. This kid that likes to play all day came up to my shoe and knocked it off. And this day, I don't know how the socks were so dirty, but they was dirty. It was black, and he exposed my sock, made me mad. So I started running up, and the sock just flopping. And I was running after him, and it made me mad, but it was trauma at the same time. because people was laughing. It was, look at that. And I don't know why he did it that day, but he did. But that was trauma. But as far as people picking fights, I, I didn't carry myself, and boxing teaches you this too. I was always scared to fight, to be honest. Because what if I hurt this kid? I'm going to jail. What if I kill this kid? I'm going to jail. I'm a trained professional where I can look at somebody. I'm trained to look at somebody's body and find a weakness somewhere on their body and try to hurt it. So my thinking was, I ain't going to jail. I don't want to go to jail. And I ain't trying to hurt nobody. Or I ain't trying to kill nobody. So that stuck with me. So I never had a street fight. People never tried they never tried it, you know. People did not like me for some reason, yes, but they never tried it. And I never walked like opposite stuff. So.
Love it. Any other question? One more? Got time for one more? Okay, yeah, both of them. No, go ahead. And then, yeah.
Right. What was the most competitive fight that you've ever had in professional boxing?
Ooh, good question. Good question. So, boxing is a tough sport. It's a very, I kid you not, boxing is the toughest sport that you could ever do. I don't know if any guys tried it. I don't know if Pastor tried the boxing, but it's literally the toughest sport you can be in. You literally got to be kind of like crazy to want to be hit in the head for a living. Kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, who would want that? Who would want that for a career path? So you got to be kind of crazy. But somehow I became good at it, so I was able to do it. But do I recommend it? No, I don't recommend it. But my toughest fight was against Lucas Matisse. I fought here, and he was an Argentinian. You know, those type of fighters, they come forward. They want to get you. They want to hurt you. So this particular time, I was fighting 140, the 140 division. It was hard for me to make the weight. My muscles was getting bigger. I was getting stronger. I was growing into my man strength, so it was kind of hard for me to make weight that time. I made the weight. Fight came. I was at home, my family here, everybody, I'm pumped, I'm ready. I knew I had trouble making weight this fight too. I had troubles making weight, but I made it. I was drained making the weight. I was real drained. I was skins and bone. I can show you the picture. I was nothing but skins and bone. I was drained. But fight came, I was ready. Ding! Fight. Won the first 3 rounds, pretty easy. The 4th round came, my leg cramp. When I tell you, I said, I am in trouble. Because this is an elite fight. Everybody at the top can fight. When you at this level, everybody can fight. There's like this that separates fighters. So my leg cramped in the 1st round, and then 4th round, I said, oh my God. I didn't rehydrate enough. My muscle was cramping. So mentally, I had to get through it. I know mentally I had to be strong. I had to get it out of my brain that I'm cramping. So I had to, and you cannot show that you in battle. You cannot show that you are hurt in no way, or he gonna expose it and he gonna go for it. So I had to play it off. I had to do what I can in there, and it stopped cramping after the 5th round. I gained my composure, but I was dead tired. My body was literally tired. I felt like I ain't trained for this fight. That's how draining that weight cut was for me in this fight. 7th round came. My leg cramped again. Cramp, and it was in both of them this time. Both in the back of my hamstring. Back of my hamstring, they was cramping. I was like, oh my God, this. So, came out for the 8th round. When I tell you, he hit me with a body shot so hard, it made me rethink this boxing thing. I had to it made me literally think, why am I doing this? Why? And I've been doing it a long time. I was a long time. Why am I doing this? It hurted so bad. But mentally, you got to be tough. I've been doing it a long time. So I had to play it off. He got the nerve enough to hit me in the body again and do it again. So I got past that. And this was the fight too. I got knocked down for the first time too. It was a battle. It was a battle. Oh, it was an uphill battle. And the only reason how I was able to get through this fight is my family was sitting out there. I was home. I had that. I cannot lose in front of my family. I cannot lose in front of my. So I had to muscle up the will to win, and that was my toughest fight. When I tell you, I had to prove why I wanted to be world champion. That day, I understood what it meant when they say you got to go through dog fight. Sometimes that was the fight that I had to prove myself. It was tough. It was tough. I can remember it. Like he hit me with some shots that I said, man, let me rethink this boxing thing, man.
Good question. Thank you for that. Good question.
I feel like we're having a conversation. So I have two questions, but the first one is semi-quick. With everything that you have going on, we are super proud of who you are as a person. Would you be willing to come back to Impact Church St. Louis and do something without you?
Absolutely. That's the and I told Pastor, that's the space I'm in right now. The space I'm in right now is I want to give back so much, because I always told God when and I used to pray to God a lot. God, if you get me out of this position I'm in, whatever poor state I'm in, if you get me out of this position I'm in, I'm going to come back and help these kids. I'm going to come back and do whatever you want me to do. He facilitated that for me. He did that. So the type of space that I'm in is I want to do what I'm doing right now. I want to do kids. I go talk to the kids all the time in the city. I go speak to them. I bring the belts. They get a kick out of seeing the belts. I talk to them. I tell them. I be real with them. My story is, I just tell them the truth. You know, how I grew up. And, you know, and I get a kick out of every time I talk to some kids. They'll come up to me and say, hey, would you pour for real? Would you pour like me for real? Or they'll come up to me and say, you didn't eat sometime for real? Yeah. And when you, yes, that is the, sometime if my mom say, boy, go to bed, I knew there was no food in the house, so we had to go to bed. So I would tell them this, and they can relate to that. So they would come up to me after I'm done speaking. Hey, Mr. Alexander, you didn't eat for real? They talked about you when you had dirty shoes for real. You had raggedy shoes for real. You had dirty clothes for real. They literally, and that's why I do it. That's why I tell them the stories, because I know for a fact kids out there going through the same thing I am.
That's big. That's big. And my second question is, when did you know it was time to walk away from the sport that you love and train so hard for so many years?
So my last fight, I had a torn.
Jeez, man, y'all said I thought that was just your bicep that's torn.
So I got a torn bicep right here, but I never had. It was a partial tear. It wasn't a whole tear, because if it would have tore a hole, it would have been, my muscle would have been down. Because you got two ligaments that's connected that pulls your muscle up, that gives it that hump right there. They're right there. So,
could y'all see that? Did y'all see? Wait, hold on, did you get that? Yeah, please look at that. That is the torn muscle he's talking about.
But this is they call it the Popeye muscle right there. But
All
the
right, do it one more time so you get it.
the muscle. So that always had this always had this muscle, though. But it gave it that extra hump right here, my torn. But right here, the right side of the ligament is what. So that's why they call it a partial tear. I didn't tear it completely; it was a partial. So I still can use it, long as I don't rip it again.
Oh man,
So,
he says as long as he doesn't rip it again, yeah.
So I
Man.
don't have to have surgery or anything. So
Well, that's
can have
good.
it. So, but when God say, "Boy, you've done good. You've done a lot. You've done a tremendous amount of success and all that." You listen to your body. I feel good right now, but you gotta listen to your body and see when they say, "Okay, time," because basketball players do. One thing about it too, Father Time is undefeated. Father Time is undefeated. You cannot outrun Father Time. So you gotta feel your body, listen to God, and see how your body feels.
So speaking of that, and I know we're rounding off to end our session for tonight, and we appreciate everyone watching and those of you who are here. But I know he asked a question about when it was time for you to give up. But you got a fight coming up.
I do.
So yeah, talk about that fight coming up.
I do.
I told him I wanted to try to make the fight if I could like get away from them, but we got to see because it's coming up like
next week.
Next week
in Canada. So I got 2 more fights left on my contract, and then I'll be retired. So I want to bring my last fight back home. The theme is started where I finished it.
I love that. Started where he finished.
Yes,
Now I know I could probably make the St. Louis fight, the one in Canada. Yeah, but talk about.
I want, I'm going to Canada. Then I want my last fight to be in St. Louis. The theme is where it all started, where it began, and where it's ending, right here in St. Louis. So that's what I want. That's what I want for my last fight.
Love it. So
you guys hear it first. This is the first time I said this.
That's exclusive stuff that you you forget the Breakfast Club and all of the all them YouTube stations. Impact Church St. Louis.
Indeed.
Yeah. Indeed. 2 fights left on his contract. He's trying to bring the last one home. So y'all got to support Devon Alexander, man. This is one of our hometown heroes. So who you fighting? What is that, coming up next week? How you been training? Are you ready? You're winning. What's happening? Come on, tell us. Get us hype about it.
So next week I never been to Canada. They called me about 2 months ago and said, "Hey man, we got a deal done. Got a yada, my manager and PR." I said, "Okay."
But you're not with Don King anymore, right?
No. That was that's when I first started out with Don King, and it wasn't all bad. He was a decent promoter. I didn't experience any of the stories that I hear about Don, but everybody's different, I guess.
Yeah.
But I have my ducks in a row, thank God. I have my lawyers to look at them as contract, because he do throw in nuggets in those contracts where it will trip you up, and you
be tied down forever.
Extend your career with him for 3 more years, and you thought you only got 1 year. So he would throw nuggets in there, but thank God I had lawyers to look at that, etch that out. No, thank you. But yeah, I started with Don, but now and I thank God for this, I got a name in boxing now, and when you get a name like Floyd, you don't need no promoter or you don't need a manager anymore, because you are established. Established fighters, they just, "Hey, Devon, this fight makes sense. Call, make it happen. If it makes sense, we make it work."
Yeah, love it. Now, who did you say you were fighting?
We fight a kid named Vlad. Decent fighter, decent fighter. Me as a fighter,
Because your weight and your weight class is what?
yes, it's welterweight.
Okay.
Yeah, me as a fighter, I don't like to speak my opponent name.
Gotcha. You should have told me that, man. I wouldn't
But,
have.
but it's good. But
Okay, because
I don't like to speak his name
okay.
until afterwards.
So you got a opponent. That's what it is,
Yes.
y'all. An opponent.
Yes.
All right.
I got a thing where I don't even mention his name until after battle, and I can talk about it. But right now, I'm mentally zoned and focused, ready for battle.
And you ready? And,
Yes,
and
indeed.
you win
I
it.
stay- So working out,
That's
I think it should be a lifestyle.
yeah.
You should do some type of physical activity every day. Something. It should be a lifestyle, and you will feel better for it too. You'll feel better. Something. Walk a mile or so, or walk a half a mile. Just do something every day. It should be a lifestyle.
Love it. So he's ready for that fight. Will it be televised?
Yes, sir. UFC
Okay.
pass.
Okay, UFC pass. So
Yes, indeed.
if you want to watch that fight, then and what day is that fight going to be on?
It's going to be on a Friday.
That's
Friday.
so
Next
that's
Friday.
so
Next Friday, the 24th.
so that's this coming Friday. So today is Monday,
Yes, indeed.
and this coming Friday is going to be on the UFC package. So man, check that out. So last thing, and then we'll wrap. What is it that you want to say to our online audience, the people who are here today? Just some final words before I thank you and we get out of here. What would you share? Just whatever that is on your heart. It could be anything.
So what I would like and what I like to leave people with is it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I start. So typically they count you out growing up in that type of neighborhood environment. They count you out. You growing up around gangs. Statistics shows if you do grow up around that type of certain environment, you become a victim of your surrounding, and they already count you out. But don't let that deter you. You can, and I really try to instill this in kids and adults as well. You can literally be whatever you want to be. Literally, I'm telling you, I started poorer than most of the kids that I speak to. And if I can do it, you can do it. There is no limitations. Don't ever put limitations on yourself. It's not about how you start, it's how you finish. When people put limitations on yourself, just say, for instance, if I tell my brain I can only go past this line right here, I can go past this line. It's about mentality. It's mental. You gotta have a strong mental, man. And you can do whatever you want. Whatever. So the two things I would leave. It's not about how you start, it's how you finish. Stay consistent with what you do. You can do whatever. You get the free. I tell my kids, you get the free will. Every day my kids wake up, they got the free will to do whatever they want to do. Not everything, but the free will to do whatever they want to do. And you can do it.
We appreciate you, man. I want to say thank you. Come on, yeah, let's give him a hand for taking his time out to be with us today. And he could have been doing any other thing. He's getting ready for a fight to fly out. And so, man, Impact, this is really a very special moment because in one day you got the champ hanging out with us, sharing his life. You had community leaders here. You had an NFL player here hanging out with us tonight. You got belts, like y'all got, and he doesn't even mind you, like if you've never touched a belt, because most people won't even be around a person to be able to do it. So and he's allowing it to happen. So this is a special privilege. And we want you to be able to take some pictures with him if you haven't. If you took some downstairs, that's great. But take some up here on stage with him. post it online, do whatever it is that you would like to do. He is just, again, an open book, a good brother. And Impact Church will always be a home to you, man. It's an open door. You know, man, we gonna be walking with each other for the rest of our lives. So
We kicked it off real good.
w-
We clicked like that.
we did.
Just like that.
We
Just
did.
like that.
Now, and I'm gonna tell y'all something real quick behind closed doors. The dude does not hardly eat. Okay, so he didn't eat today. When we was at lunch a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
did you didn't eat then, did you?
No.
He ate ice water. That was about it. And so and then he didn't eat the when we was at the Urban League. He didn't eat then.
yeah.
I've never seen him eat. So that's part of why his bicep is the way it is, because all of his nutrients are going right there. But also too, just and I know we have wrapped up, but he actually has a boxing gym. If you're online, he has a boxing gym. Just kind of tell where that gym is located and who could be a part of. Wanted to get involved.
Oh man, I recommend boxing for all young boys. And this is not to compete. This is just purely discipline aspect of it. Because I've posed this question to the politicians as well. I said I recommend boxing for all young boys. It would alleviate a lot of what's going on out here. The bullies, toting the guns or whatever. If you got a troubled kid, bring them to the gym. I promise you, I've seen it firsthand. It will fix their attitude and it will fix their thinking. Because just say, for instance, me and you, if you bring a kid that's troubled, or bully, just say you want to bully, put them in the ring. Typically, they're gonna last 40 seconds and be dead tired. Dead tired. Then I asked them, look, was it worth you bullying that person? I thought you was big, bad, and tough. You're not tough no more, right? Right. So it would alleviate a lot of that if you bring them to the gym, let them see the workout, put them through a rigorous workout, let them see that they not the baddest person that they thought they was in the ring. So you need to stop all that outside the ring, or it's gonna get you in trouble. I have posed this to a lot of and it makes sense. If me and you is sparring in the ring, I can take my glove off and say, I'm finna kill you because you hit me too hard. No, boxing helps you. We can be in there going at it, but I don't have to kill you for it. We can go at it and get out, dab it up. Good job, man. Good work. You had some good shots in there, man. Good work. And we still friends. So it teaches the young boys that think they hard or they think they the baddest out here. Calm down, because you're not. You're not. And it will help the attitude, calm them down. I seen a young man, his name was Makai, came disrespectful to his mom. I say, look, here, you're not gonna be disrespectful to your mom. You're gonna say, yes, ma'am, and he's totally different now. He got in the ring for the first time. He was mad. He was upset. He was hitting me in my head. That's why I got you here. This next time he did it, he didn't get mad that he was getting hit upside his head. It helped him calm down, and it helps you be able to take a good shot, but you don't have to kill the person for it. Stuff's gonna happen, and you don't have to kill the person for it. You don't have to fight the person for it. It's going to happen regardless. It calms the kid down, and I'm telling you, I recommend boxing for all you boys.
That's good stuff. Now, where's your gym located?
Gym is in St. Charles, Missouri. It's at 1227 North 2nd Street in St. Charles, Missouri.
And what usually is basic, like
the
starter
hours are
prices?
The start time is from 5 to 8, and
It's Monday through Friday, or
Monday through Friday. And it really depends. The pricing depends on the person's ability to pay. I'm not that type of person that I don't do it for money. Of course it costs, but I don't do it for money. If the parents got $10, they can come.
Oh man, did y'all hear?
If the-
Like,
if
that's a
the-
good-hearted brother, man. Like,
If the person got five, one thing I don't like to talk about is money. That's one thing I don't. And I told you that. I don't like talking money because I think that's supposed to be further down. I don't know. I'm just different. Like I don't like to talk money. Because it doesn't mix. It doesn't. I don't know.
But y'all do know, like, that comes from really a humble beginning to be able to, you know, in a mature mindset to say, hey, I've been there, done that, I know what it's like, and now that I've arrived to a certain level of life, I'm not gonna cut somebody else off because I've been there, and I've lived through that. And what if you didn't have that opportunity or shot because something out cost you? What if it was a gym that said it cost this much, and you know, your life would have been in a whole nother
That's the reason why I do it.
trajectory, man. Love it, man.
That's the perfect example because, Mom, man, if I would have came home and said, Mom, it costs $60 a month to go here.
That would have been over with.
Boy,
Yeah.
you no.
That's 60 towards gas or food or a bill.
So she was like, no, sir. No, sir. You better box outside. No, sir.
Love it, man. Impact, let's give them a hand again. Online, we thank you for hanging out with us and interacting with us tonight. And we are rooting for you this Friday coming up. And we know you're going to do well. And regardless, just know you got a whole region behind your back. And we support you, man. And we appreciate you. And come worship with us as soon as you're able to, man.
Absolutely.
God bless you. Y'all have a good night. Thank you. Good evening, Impact Church St. Louis, family, friends, and company. We thank you for tuning in this evening as we have a community symposium, and you get to be a part of that symposium via online tonight. And we are excited to have a very special guest with us today. And before I get to that special guest, I'd like to thank everyone who's in attendance on this evening.